All right, welcome back to AI for Enterprise. I hope you're having an amazing time so far. Our next session is titled Scoping Your New Data Science Use Case, How Data Scientists and Engineering Teams Work Together to Create Positive Outcomes. Please join me in welcoming our panelists to the virtual stage.
Hello, everyone. Hello, attendees. Hello, Bobby. Hello, Mo, our wonderful Fireside Chat panelists. We're excited to be here today. I'm Daniel Lackland. I'll moderate this session. Without any further ado, let's kick it over to self-introductions. Each panelist will say hello and introduce themselves. Bobby, would you like to begin by just saying who you are and what we're doing here?
Absolutely. Hello, everybody. Hi, Daniel. Hi, Patrika. Hey, Mo. I'm Bobby. I'm the Director of Enterprise Data Science at Omers. Been here for roughly under a year and been doing data science for most of my career for about a decade now. Happy to be here. Looking forward to the discussion.
Excellent. Thanks, Bobby. Mo, would you like to say hello to the crowd? Mo, you are muted. Not to worry, though.
Hi, everyone. Glad to be here. Pleasure to join this session today and appreciate your attention. My name is Mo. I'm the Director of Engineering at Omers, working closely with Bobby. Been with the company for a few months now, been in the software development and enterprise IT for about 20 years now.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Mo. Without any further ado, let's jump into the first question. Bobby, this is going to come over to you at first, and then, of course, we can discuss as a group. How do you first approach a potential new AI project? What are the initial steps?
Perfect. So first of all, the moment somebody comes to you and says, hey, we'd like to do an AI project, run. Because oftentimes you want to think of it, no project is an AI project to begin with. You really want to scope it out properly, which I guess is the question. And so AI projects are just like any other engineering initiatives or projects. You want to make sure you have, well, first of all, with AI, you need to have lots of data. So you want to make sure that you have the data to support whatever proposition, whoever the stakeholder is bringing to you, or whichever the proposition you are trying to tackle is. And so the first thing first, you want to make sure that the project or the product that you're attempting to build can be supported by data. But that alone is quite a bit of an extensive exercise to undertake. So you want to make sure that you have the right project management system in place. You want to make sure you have the right product development framework in place. You want to make sure you have business buy-in and interest to be able to do something like AI in your organization, especially if it's brand new. You really want to make sure that you have the right frameworks in place, especially the business buy-in, to make sure you can continue down the path of doing any kind of AI project to begin with. I'll leave it at that.
Excellent. Mo, you want to jump in here as well?
Absolutely. I think the key point here is that AI is an enablement technology. And for any of the business goals that an enterprise is looking to really automate the unautomatable, which was out of reach some years ago, it's really now within reach. And being able to define the problem so that you're identifying where those key pain points are around what you're looking to automate and what you're looking to really power with AI to change the business process, to change the outcomes that the business is looking for. It's really the starting point for any AI successful project.
Excellent, thank you. Let me ask you both a question. Would you ever say no to a business stakeholder if the problem was not easy enough to define, or if you didn't have the infrastructure in place? Has that ever happened?
I guess I can take that. Say no, maybe not, but definitely dig a little deeper and say, hey, let's explore this further. Absolutely. In fact, we do it all the time. You have to, otherwise, the worst thing to do is have a project fail midway or towards the end, realizing there isn't a value or realizing it's not possible. And then, saying no early on. So it's a bit of a difficult conversation early on, but it needs to happen because a lot of AI projects fail. There's many reasons, but one of them being it's not properly scoped and the business value is not properly understood.
Excellent, cool. All right, question number 2, Mo, we're going to have you kick off this one. The question is, what is important when it comes to collaboration between data scientists and engineers, especially in the early stages of a new project?
Yeah, it's really key that both the data science team and the data engineering teams, or the engineering teams in general under any data and advanced analytics area are working really as one unit. These are different skill sets within any organization, is whether you're in a traditional enterprise IT or a newer company that's now adopted these core capabilities within its business lines of business. They really have to work hand in hand. The real key around that collaboration, or the key outcome of that collaboration, is sustained production workloads. Oftentimes, data science teams are left to fend for themselves and build out, soup to nuts, what is going to be something that's not necessarily operationally sustainable. The engineering teams are there in order to provide them that safety net, that assurance that what they're building has a life cycle associated to it, that the business areas that are going to be now counting on that and the criticality of those workloads are going to be in the safe hands of an enterprise IT engineering unit, and that going forward from an operational sustainment perspective, they have a trusted partner to move that work forward, to grow it, to sustain it, and then to build better.
Cool. Bobby, you want to jump in and agree or disagree?
I completely agree. In fact, any AI project or data science project, machine learning in general, is really an engineering project, because what you're really essentially doing at the end of the day is building software. It just so happens that the software ends up consuming a lot of data and produces some output by way of summaries and whatnot. So at the end of the day, it's an engineering, it's a software development process that needs proper engineering foundation, just like any software development process. So completely agree.
Excellent. Cool. Let's jump into the third question. Bobby, this question, I'd love to start with you. The question is, where do teams typically go wrong in the early stages of a new project like this?
Early stages, yes. I think getting too excited is one of them. So you have to make sure that you control the excitement a little bit. Not that it's bad. I think it's great for morale and just overall camaraderie and team performance. But oftentimes, not every project ends up being a driverless car project. In fact, very few of them ends up being like that.
And even those don't always go so well.
Exactly. And so a lot of enterprise data science projects oftentimes end up being automation-like projects, or the product end up being automation products, where you're taking sort of like an old school system that's currently in place and you want to replace it. And oftentimes, in fact, a lot of the older, boring statistical machine learning approaches that are now sort of out of fashion with the cool kids nowadays, a lot of it is still in place. And that is sort of the bread and butter in the machine learning space in the enterprise. And so holding your excitement back a little bit and really scoping it out, really making sure where the value is, making sure, is this project worth the time and effort? Even if it takes 2 people to continue on the efforts at the moment inside the business, maybe that is okay, instead of trying to automate every single thing out there, because it's no fun to automate everything in a business. After all, an enterprise is about people. You want to work together, even if it's boring and sort of non-automated, non-fancy. Sometimes you do want that, right? So you want to make sure you scope it up. You want to make sure there's value in what you're doing, and then there's a strong multiplier effect, which is because oftentimes AI projects, they can be expensive. Compute power is expensive, and machine learning operationalization is expensive. Especially these engineering resources, they're very expensive. And so you want to make sure you don't spend a lot of time and effort in building something that doesn't need to be built, right? So, yeah.
Cool. Mo, you want to jump in?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, expense aside, we are in a kind of special time where there is a war for top tier talent, and every company is right now facing a shortage of both data scientists as well as software engineers who specialize in data type solutions. And that being a problem notwithstanding on where projects can go wrong, where you're not able to retain that talent, is really important. From what I see, what's really important in setting yourself up for success is the scope. I think Bobby talked about not getting too excited, overly excited about what your outcomes are going to be, and having some realistic, grounded expectations in terms of what you're going to deliver. Well, that actually comes from really understanding what is your benefits that you're looking to realize, that value proposition, that benefit realization statement when you're at concept level for your project, whether it's AI really or any other software engineering or data solution. It's really important to understand what is the value that you're going to get out of the data that you're utilizing, and what is the outcome and ongoing sustained benefit that that's going to be delivering. I'll add one more thought here, which is around that collaboration piece we spoke about earlier. The best chance of success comes when you've got engineering teams paired up with the data science teams as part of any resourcing and forecasted work that you're going to be doing. It's oftentimes, it's highly underrated and oftentimes overlooked what that pairing can do. It's really two sides of the same coin, where that sustainment and operational excellence that comes with the engineering team and that creative experimentation that comes with the data science team comes together and really creates something special. There's really no sort of secret or magic here. It's really just kind of the facts on the ground. You need both in order to succeed.
Excellent. Thank you both. I have two quick little follow-ups, and then we'll be most likely out of time. Mo, you talked about the collaboration, and it sounds like it's really important. Is there a specific type of support, a specific workflow that you found to be particularly helpful, a particular tool of some kind in your experience that you might refer someone to who wanted to ask more about your point here?
Yeah, absolutely. And we can talk about what we're doing today and how we're working today. So one of the things that we've done is we've made a deliberate choice of our platform. That creates a clear set of tools, a clear set of capabilities that we know that we're going to be able to work within and support on an ongoing basis. In our case, we've selected the Microsoft Azure tools and partnered up with Microsoft to develop on that data technology stack. So foundational pieces such as the data pipeline development, our source systems that we have as part of our enterprise's data catalog, the target data lake that we're going to be delivering that data through, and the semantic model that the data science team is going to be utilizing. These are foundational pieces that when we put them together from an engineering perspective, collaboratively working across the portfolio of projects that the data science team is building for, we create really a solid foundation to immediately jumpstart and kickstart for quick wins that the data science team is looking to deliver on. And in the background, it provides us the linchpin for us to then grow those set of capabilities, not just for the one-off AI or ML project, but really for delivering data across the enterprise for near real-time, non-real-time, and real-time.
Excellent. Thanks so much for that answer, Mo. Bobby, one follow-up for you. You talked about the importance of defining the problem, defining the value proposition. You both did, actually. Is there any insight you can give on a specific way that you might approach something like that if it is a more difficult or complicated project?
Yeah, absolutely. So really the accountable business stakeholder that you're building the product with or product for, ask them, basically saying, hey, what are you trying to solve for here? Is it a fancy app you want to build? If so, why? And is it a solution you're trying to put together? And if so, who's going to use it? And what is the problem you're trying to solve? Like, I think that's the most important question: is what is the problem you're trying to solve? And if it is about a potential data-driven solution, which might require a lot of data, the next set of question is, once you've scoped it out a bit further, the next set of question is, do we have the data to support it? Do we have to acquire data? Do you have to purchase data? Do you have to, generate the data? And once you pass that, then the question is whether or not the data actually can validate a prediction-like or machine learning-like solution, or necessitate a prediction-like or a machine learning-like solution, because it's not always the case. And I hear this often is, oh, we get more data, we can do ML. No, you need more relevant data, and then you can do more ML work. And so there's a lot of hoops you have to go through, which is why, actually, back to Mo's point around making sure you have engineering team brought in earlier, you have to bring them at that point, because maybe there's a lot of value, and then you want to accelerate the product development, because the last thing business stakeholders want is seeing value in something and not getting it done yesterday, right? And so just to get to speed to market alone, you want to do that. So in your Slack channels, in your Teams meetings, make sure you have your engineers in the same group chats and whatnot as the rest of the data scientists, because it helps a ton. I can attest to it.
There you have it here, folks. I know that felt super fast, but we are about out of time. Panelists, please stay here to debrief after. Over to you, Patrika, to close us out here.
Wow, this has been incredible. I know we could have gone on for much longer on such an important topic. So thank you, both of you, for sharing with us today. And Dan, thanks so much for moderating and keeping us on track. And for the audience, it's time for you to make your way to your next session. Along the way, make sure you accept your connection request and take some time to check out our amazing exhibits. Thanks so much, and we'll see you around.